So today we are going to consider cellular response, adaptation, injury, and also the cell death. So this is the overview that we're going to consider, okay? Cell injury. For the cell to be injured, meaning there must be a stimuli, okay? There must be a stimuli that can injure the cell. Or in order for the cell to undergo adaptation, there must be a stimuli. So the stimuli, when you talk about the stimuli that is subjected to the cell, they can be in two forms. It can be severe or mild, okay? So depending on the stimuli, the cell can undergo either adaptive or fail to adapt. The cell can adapt or fail to adapt depending on the stimuli. When the stimuli is severe, the cell can fail to adapt. When the stimuli is so severe, the cell can fail to adapt. But when the stimuli is mild, the cell can adapt. The cell can adapt here. Adapt. But when the cell adapts, it can adapt in different ways. And these are the forms of or different types of adaptation under which the cell can undergo. There is hypertrophy, hyperplasia, atrophy, and also the metaplasia. Then, when the cell fails to adapt, it undergoes cell injury. Cell injury. Now, the injury can be of two types. Can be the reversible injury, and the irreversible injury. Okay. Just from the word reversible injury, this means that when the cell is reversible, the injury is reversible, meaning the cell can go back to its normal state, meaning the structure, the functions can be restored. But when the cell undergoes irreversible injury, meaning the cell can't go back to its morphological state or its normal functioning state, as a result, it can go cell death. Then the cell can die. Now, there are two types of which the cell can undergo cell death. There is necrosis and apoptosis. Okay, so the way let's just now try to see how can we define cellular response. Okay, so cellular response simply means this is how the cell responds to different stimuli. That's the simple definition that we can define. So in the next video, we are going to talk about the cellular adaptation, which where we are going to focus on these four. What are they? We are going to consider the mechanisms. That's in the next video. Then after this, in the next video, we're going to consider about the injury, cellular injury. Now specifically, we are going to combine it with the cell death, okay? The cell death. So in part 3 of this video, we're going to talk about the cell death, specifically necrosis, okay? The mechanisms that are involved. Then in part 4, we are going to consider about the apoptosis, which is another cell death.